Morning Land by George Essex Evans, 1893 to 1909. Around and beneath the dull grey mist and the sullen roar of the sea, scant footing place on the sheer cliff face, with death for a penalty. But afar and above there is rest and love, there is hope for brain and hand. The valleys fair and the crystal air and the peaks of morning land. Around and beneath are the mists of toil and the sullen roar of the world, and the sneer of scorn for a foothold gone and a climber backward hurled. But afar and above are the hopes of men, with the heart and will to stand, on the thin rift's edge and the slippery ledge that lead to morning land. They slip and fall from the sheer cliff's face. Ah, God, they are falling still. But another leaps for the vacant place, and another his place will fill. 'Tis little they fear with the coward's sneer, or the scorn of a selfish band, whose eyes are set on the parapet and the heights of morning land. Hark to the ring as the rock picks swing, and bite for a whole foothold there. Grip by grip they are straining up, that others may travel fair. The world will follow them all some day, the men it has shunned and banned, the gallant hearts that hewed the way that leads to morning land. So, let's see. This is a poem by George Essex Evans. Let's see, he was born in London. His father was actually an MP, but I think when he was about a year old, his father died and the family moved to Wales. He went to a grammar school, and then aged 18 with three other members of his family, they migrated to Queensland in northeastern Australia, and they bought a farm, and he lived the rest of his life in Queensland. So George is an Australian, yeah. And he worked as a teacher and a reporter, and but he never stopped writing poetry. So, Morning Land, what is this about? Okay, I think this poem is full of the idea of making a new world. Let's see, I'm sure when he arrived in Queensland in the late 19th century, this was a very, very frontier world. Yeah, there were you had to look after yourself, and this is full of the idea of the hopes and dreams that can be achieved. Yeah, it's getting over the trials and tribulations, the problems of going to a new land, and that you can achieve anything. Yeah. If you scale one obstacle or one problem after another. And I think Morning Land is a sort of utopia. Yeah, it's a place where you can rest, where things are good, where life is easy. Yeah, and the road is hard, and there are many problems on the way. Yeah, and there are failures of the past, but you keep going, you keep trying, and eventually you will reach heaven, nirvana. So he's thinking about a better society, a better world, carving out a place in the soil of Queensland. And then this is all couched in the metaphor of climbing a mountain or climbing a rock, and you need to get to the top. And it's a very dangerous climb. So around and beneath the dull grey mist and the sullen roar of the sea. So at the bottom there is, it's a sad, depressed world. Yeah, it's full of grey mist and the roar of the sea. Scant footing place on the sheer cliff face, with death for a penalty. Okay, so there's a cliff that's got to be climbed, and there is scant footing place. There are very few places to put your feet on the sheer cliff face. So the cliff is sheer, it's vertical. Yeah, and if you make a mistake and fall, then you can die. But afar and above there is rest and love. There is hope for brain and hand. Yeah, so at the top of the mountain, way above, there is a utopia, a wonderful place full of rest and love. Yeah, and even though things are hard, there is hope for your mind and hope for your body. Because things are hard if you can get there. The valleys fair and the crystal air and the peaks of Morning Land. So Morning Land is this utopia, and it's got beautiful valleys and clear air. So notice the rhyme here. The valleys fair and the crystal air, internal rhymes here. Yeah, and roar of the sea for a penalty. Yeah, and hand. Morning Land. Okay, so these are his rhymes. Around and beneath are the mists of toil and the sullen roar of the world. So at the bottom of the mountain is a world of hard work, the mists of toil, the fog of toil, and the sullen, the depressed roar of the world. The roar of people, of people's problems, the world that people are really living, and the sneer of scorn for a foothold gone, and a climber backwards hurled. So a sneer, yeah. So if somebody loses their footing, yeah, a sneer of scorn. Silly thing. Yeah. So that they will scorn at somebody who falls off. Yeah, and the climber who falls backwards, maybe to his death. Maybe this is spiritual death or death as a human. But afar and above are the hopes of men with the heart and will to stand. So at the top of the mountain are the hopes, yeah, with people who are brave enough to make it the whole way to the end. On the thin rift's edge and the slippery ledge, the thin rift's edge and the slippery ledge that lead to Morning Land. Okay, so the thin rift's edge and the slippery ledge. A ledge is a flat place, and a rift, I think, is a crack that's opened. So the dangerous places in this mountain that you have to climb over to get to Morning Land, and you have to be brave enough to go through all this and make it to the end. They slip and fall from the sheer cliff's face. Ah, God, they are falling still. So people fall off the cliff. Maybe they make a mistake, they go back to their old lives, they just give up because it's too hard. Yeah? But another leaps for the vacant place, and another his place will fill. But there are always people who want to try to do this, who want to try to make this way to a wonderful new place, to a wonderful nirvana, to make things better. Yeah, to make Australia this wonderful place. 'Tis little they fear of the coward's sneer, or the scorn of a selfish band. So They don't fear that a coward may scorn them, may sneer at them. That's ridiculous. Yeah, so they don't mind about people, what people say, what society says. Yeah, they are fixed on their goal. Whose eyes are set on the parapet, more internal rhyme here, eyes are set on the parapet, and the heights of morning land. Yeah, so there are always people who will take the place of those who fall, and they're not afraid of what people think. Yeah, and they're going to try to reach morning land, to reach this place. So look, the rhyme again. Are falling still, place will fill. Selfish band, morning land. Yeah, okay, so let's go on. Hark to the ring as their rock picks swing, and bite for a foothold there. Okay, so hark, listen. Listen to the ring, listen to the sound of their rock picks. This is like an axe that they're using to cut holes into the rock so that they can actually stand there. They've got a foothold to go further upwards. Grip by grip they are straining up, that others may travel fair. So pace by pace, movement by movement, grip by grip, they're straining, they're working really hard so that other people can travel this path to morning land. So not only are they are making their own way up, but they're blazing a trail, they're making a trail for other people to be able to follow them. And here it goes. The world will follow them all some day. The men it has shunned and banned. So one day everybody will follow these people up to morning land, to this wonderful world. Even the people that morning land, they couldn't get there. Effectively it's shunned, it's turned its back on them and it's banned them. But still, that one day they will follow in the footsteps or the grips cut by the rock picks of these people. The gallant hearts that hewed the way that leads to morning land. So the brave hearts that cut the way, that cut the footholds. To hew is to cut. Yeah, to cut with an axe or with a pick in this case. Yeah, so these are the people that made the trail. They were the people who blazed the trail to morning land so that others may follow. And that's it. So enough. If you enjoyed the video, give it a rating, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you soon. Bye for now. Morning Land by George Essex Evans.